What's up, guys? Coach Madden, official trainer, YouGoProBaseball.com, and today I've got top 10
pitching velocity hacks.
Strength. Exercises like the squat, deadlift, and lunges are great exercises to increase pitching velocity. They make you stronger, more stable, and able to control your body better. The side effect is you'll throw a little faster. Number 2 is plyometrics. Exercises like jumps, skaters, skips, and sprints will make you more explosive. And again, a side effect from this is going to be increased velocity. Number 3, which is one of my favorite pitching velocity workouts, is med ball training. I really like med ball throws because it works on more explosive rotational energy, which is exactly what you need out of your body to throw faster.
leverage your energy. Now in pitching, to me, there's two types of energy. You've got your linear energy and your rotational energy. Your linear energy is the energy that you're creating going towards home plate. Your rotational energy is obviously when you're rotating, because we're starting closed off and then we're opening up, we're rotating, we're unwinding, and that's another part of our energy. So how can we leverage our linear energy and how can we leverage our rotational energy to get the most out of our kinetic chain? Because that's basically what we're doing. We're creating energy from the ground up out through our release point. And if we can leverage this energy and not leak any of it, we're gonna be able to pitch faster. Does that make sense? So how do we leverage our linear energy? Well, we create that energy by getting a good load, then we drive forward. That's our linear energy. But then to leverage that energy, we've got to pitch against a strong front leg. If your front leg after you land continues to go this way, you're leaking your energy. If your front leg after you land continues to go this way, you're leaking your energy. The best pitchers in the game have a good shin angle, which means their shin goes into the ground. They're pitching against that front leg this way. Some guys, major league pitchers, are fully straight. Not right when they land bent, but as they get to their release point, they're fully straight. They're pitching against that front leg. So that's how you leverage your linear energy. Your energy goes this way until it hits that front side and the energy says, you can't go any further forward. So then it continues up your kinetic chain. Does that make sense? So now how do we leverage our rotational energy, right? Because now we've got this energy here and we say, no, we can't go any further this way. So now it continues up the body. How do we leverage our rotational energy? We have to block off, okay? Blocking off means that we're stopping our rotation here. So you'll see great pitchers when they stop, they're not pulling this glove all the way back this way. They're blocking off. This elbow comes to the side and that's as far as they're rotating, okay? Their back shoulder continues to rotate past their other shoulder, but they're blocking off. If you just kept spinning when you're pitching this way, you're gonna leak a lot of energy out this way as you're throwing. So we gotta block it off once we get back into our linear energy. So we're rotating, we block it off, and now everything comes back linear again as we finish that throw. Now, how do you increase your pitching velocity? By unlocking your hips. You gotta do some hip mobility stuff. One of the first mobility drills or stretching exercises we like to do for the hips is the figure 4. And that's when you're like stretching out the sciatica, that side of the leg there up into the butt. And all you're doing is putting your foot on top of your other knee and then pulling your legs close to your body while pushing your up leg knee down towards the ground. You'll really feel that stretch in the side of your upper butt and down the side of your leg if you're tight there. The second exercise I like to do to increase hip mobility and in return increase your pitching velocity as a side effect is what I call the world's greatest stretch. And it's just a lunge where you lunge out and then take that same arm that you're, the leg that you're lunging out with, and you try to put that elbow to the ground. Then you turn and you twist and point out to the sky. Then you'll alternate legs and continue on. It's a great stretch to really open up those hips and loosen up the core as well. The third exercise that I like to do is squat rocks, where you squat down into a nice deep squat position and you keep your heels on the ground. You keep your chest up, your back flat, you push your elbows inside of your knees and push out. And then you kind of rock around down there. Just loosen up those ankles, that groin, those hips, and just stay down there and kind of move around a little bit. It's a great one to really unlock those hips. The next exercise, the back roll to hamstring stretch. All we're doing here is we're rolling on our back till our toes hit the ground behind us, and then we're gonna roll back out, open our legs, and stretch down out in front and stretch out those hamstrings. This will also give you a little bit of mobility in those hips, in those hamstrings, those legs, and in that lower back. Another great one, a classic one, is the butterfly, where you're sitting down, you've got your feet together out in front of you, and you're pushing down on your knees and really stretching out that groin. And the last thing we do to unlock the hips when we're trying to increase our pitching velocity is froggers. All you're gonna do is open your legs where you look like a frog and you're laying on the floor, and spread those legs out nice and wide and feel a good stretch inside of those hips, that groin, hip flexors. You're gonna feel it loosen up really good. Well, it's very simple. Like I said, it's instinctual. When you tell a young kid, go ahead and rear back and throw this one, what's the first thing he's gonna do? He's gonna tilt his shoulders and he's gonna twist back, right? Rear back, that's what that means. And in fact, that works. Why does that work? We talk about pitching velocity or the pitching delivery, at least the way I speak of it, being linear energy and rotational energy, because I'm driving away from this rubber, and then I'm also rotating. So we've got two types of energy, right? Now, the rear back part of this, when guys separate, okay, I don't know if you know this, but guys separate at 45 degrees or more closed off. So if I'm pitching straight this way, right? This is for third base, I'm a righty, third base, home plate. And when I separate my hands, 45 degrees would be right about here. So a lot of pro pitchers, high velocity pitchers, when they separate their hands, they don't separate straight, even though that's what we've always been taught by our coaches, separate, point straight to home. That doesn't work, that doesn't help you increase your pitching velocity. The high velocity pitchers separate at 45 degrees or more. You'll see a lot of righties separate at third base, okay? Now, why does this work? Why does this help? Well, because if we separate a lot very closed off, we're gonna put ourselves into a better situation to have good hip to shoulder separation. So the simple way to do that is, if you guys are very linear with your hand separation, is to start a little bit more closed off, 45 degrees or more closed off when you separate your hands. Now, the second thing we talked about when you rear back is tilting the shoulders, right? Now, that goes back to the linear energy. So we're driving, then we're rotating, and then we finish linear again, right? Now, if we're tilted in the beginning, then we have something to pull down with at the end. So now we've got this extra pull down at the end if our shoulders are tilted at first. You'll see a lot of pitchers when they're pitching, that shoulder comes down and their arm gets up. Their arm slot is in line with their shoulder angle, okay? So if you're tilted up first, you're loaded to unload. Same thing with the closed off, you're loaded to unload. All you're gonna do is get up against a wall or a fence or somewhere that has something padded like this. We're gonna get nice and close, and we're gonna set up, stagger our stance. You want your back foot to be about a foot of your foot away, and then all you're gonna do is get set up, lead with that butt, and go into that mound. The only thing that should be touching the wall is gonna be the side of your butt, not your shoulder, not your knee, not your foot. Why is this important? How does this pitching drill help pitching velocity? Well, when we stay closed and we lead with our butt for a long time, it helps decrease early trunk rotation, okay? Early hip rotation. It keeps us closed longer so that we can open up fast and out in front. Does that make sense? If we can stay closed up and coiled up and keep all that energy in there and then explode it open faster, we're gonna create more hip to shoulder separation when we do get down the mound, which will increase our pitching velocity. That's why that pitching drill is so important for pitching velocity. I know it seems like a very simple drill, but if you can get that right and consistently do it and add it into your pitching delivery, you're gonna see a lot more out of that. You're gonna get a lot more out of that, okay? As far as pitching velocity is concerned. To speed up your delivery, you gotta get faster. Too many guys I see is like, I wanna pitch faster, I need to pitch faster, how do I pitch faster? And then when I see them pitching, their whole movement is just very slow. If you want to pitch fast, you have to move fast. You have to be fast, okay? Guys who pitch fast are very explosive. They're very fast. Usually guys who can pitch fast can run fast. Guys who can pitch fast can jump high, okay? There's a direct relation to vertical jump and 60-yard dash as it relates to throwing velocity. So if you want to pitch faster, you have to be faster. You have to train faster. You have to train as an explosive athlete.
And it's not just through your joints, although we're going to work from the ground up, meaning from our ankle to our knee, knee to our hip, hip to our shoulder, shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, and out through the fingers. But it's also our nervous system, because our nervous system controls our muscles, which controls the movement of our joints. So how can we take that and sequence the energy or the events that are going to happen in the pitching delivery down the mat? That's the kinetic chain. Moving the energy up the body and out through the hand.
How to pitch faster from the stretch. I hear all the time guys saying, oh, I don't like pitching from the stretch because I pitch a lot faster from the windup, or I can't pitch as well from the stretch. But listen, you should be able to pitch just as fast as you can from the windup as you do from the stretch. So if you're not, then you need to work on it. And this video is gonna help you on how to pitch faster from the stretch. The first thing that you need to do is you need to practice it more. So for you guys who say, oh, I pitch better from the windup than the stretch, you guys are probably throwing all your bullpens from the windup, right? So don't do what you're good at all the time. You need to work on some of the stuff that you're not so good at. So practice it, first of all, practice it more than you do the windup. So whenever you're throwing your bullpens, work on throwing from the stretch, okay? Getting set up and throwing from the stretch. The second thing that you need to do is to get more legs into it. The reason why a lot of you guys don't throw as fast from the stretch is because you're not getting enough legs out of it. You're kind of just getting here and kind of falling, and when you're in the windup, you're really getting into that back leg and driving. You need to do the same thing from the stretch. Yes, you have to be faster because there's runners on, potentially. I mean, I pitch from the stretch every single pitch. I didn't throw from the windup. So even when guys weren't on the base, I was pitching from the stretch. But let's say there is guys on base, you have to be a little bit faster, obviously. But you still want to get the most amount of your legs into it as you can. So you still want to get into this back leg and be quick. And you can do that. Looks like that, okay? So being quick, but still using your legs. That's the second thing. The third thing is that you want to stay rotational, okay? A lot of guys, when they get into the stretches, they get too linear and everything is right here, okay? Right this way. You still want to stay rotational. You still want to get all your rotational energy. So as you separate, you still want to separate closed and back this way. Get on a good pitching program. Now, of course, you can check out Pitching 365.2. That is my pitching program. It is on sale right now on my website, but I'm not here to sell you stuff. It's a great program, it'll work, but whatever program you're on, you gotta get on a good program, okay? Whether it's mine or somebody else's or one that you created for yourself, you have to have a routine. You gotta put it down on paper, track your progress, use the numbers and learn from that, okay? So you have to be on a good program so you can progress and get better as you go. You stay committed. Now, if you're watching this video, you might have got a few good tips on how to increase your pitching velocity, and you may take a few of them and you might do them for a couple of days. That ain't gonna help. You gotta stay committed, all right? Take the things that work for you and stay committed to it. Make a plan, build out a program, okay? You have to stay committed. Anything worth having is gonna cost you something. You gotta put in the time, you gotta put in the effort, you gotta be consistent, you gotta commit. So if you want this, you wanna pitch faster, you gotta commit to it. You gotta put it on paper and make it happen. Do it, execute, get out there and work hard. Go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Also, if you like this video, you're really gonna like this one. It's 3 tips to instantly increase your pitching velocity. All you gotta do is click it. It's gonna take you to a page where you put your first name and your email in, and then I'll shoot you that video over. If you can't click that, you can click this if you're on your mobile device, or you can click the link in the description below. All of them will take you to the same place. Throw your first name and your email in there, and I'll shoot you that video over right away. You can start working on increasing your pitching velocity right now.